My beloved child, pause for a moment and feel the stillness around you. This is not an ordinary night, and this is not an ordinary message. December 24th carries a sacred weight, and heaven has been watching your steps closely. What you are about to hear is meant for you, not by accident, not by chance, but by divine timing. Something has been forming quietly behind the scenes, and tonight, it draws closer than ever before. Listen carefully. Archangel Michael is stepping forward with urgency and compassion. His presence surrounds this moment with strength, protection, and truth. He says this Christmas Eve is marked in the heavens. A miracle has been assigned to your name, and it is approaching faster than you realize. Do not treat this as just another video, because the message itself is part of the miracle unfolding. There has been a heaviness in your spirit lately, hasn't there? A feeling that something needs to change, yet you could not see how or when. You have carried questions into the night, wondering if God truly sees your silent efforts, your private prayers, and your hidden tears. Tonight, the answer is yes. Heaven has heard everything, even the prayers you stopped speaking out loud. This is why Archangel Michael says, do not ignore this, because ignoring it would mean missing a divine alignment. Christmas Eve is not only a celebration, it is a doorway, a threshold where the unseen becomes visible, where long delays begin to dissolve, where what felt impossible starts shifting into place. This night is different because you are different now. You have endured lessons that strengthen your soul, battles that refined your faith, moments where you had no proof, yet you chose to believe anyway. And choice mattered. Archangel Michael reveals that your perseverance has activated something powerful. A spiritual signal went out when you refused to give up, and tonight, that signal is being answered. There is a reason your heart feels restless as you listen. That stirring is confirmation. A miracle coming is not random. It connects directly to something you thought was over, something you believe had passed you by. Heaven says it was not denied, only delayed for divine perfection. What is coming will arrive in a way that protects you, blesses you, and brings peace instead of confusion. Archangel Michael stands as a guardian over your household on this night. He says the space you are in right now is being covered. Fear does not belong here. Worry does not get the final word. This Christmas Eve, light is entering places that have been dark for too long. Even if you cannot see it yet, movement has already begun. You may have noticed signs recently, small, quiet confirmations that felt easy to dismiss. A word you ever heard, a memory that returned unexpectedly, a sudden calm after a long storm. Those were not coincidences. They were gentle taps from heaven, preparing your heart for what is about to arrive. Tonight is the culmination of those whispers. Archangel Michael says the miracle will come suddenly but gently. It will not overwhelm you. It will restore you. It will remind you who you are and whose you are. This is not about flashy signs or loud announcements. This is about divine accuracy. The miracle fits your life perfectly, filling a gap only God could see. Pay attention to your emotions right now. If you feel warmth, hope, or even tears, that is your spirit responding to truth. Your soul recognizes this message because it was written for you before this night ever arrived. Christmas Eve holds ancient power, new beginnings wrapped in divine love. And tonight, that power is touching your story. Archangel Michael says something is being lifted. A burden you have carried quietly is loosening its grip. You do not have to fight it anymore. The miracle coming will do what striving never could. It will settle what has been unsettled and bring clarity where confusion once lived. This message is urgent because timing matters. Heaven works with precision, and tonight's window is sacred. Even your presence here is evidence that you were guided. Nothing about this moment is accidental. You were meant to hear this before the night ends, before tomorrow begins, before the shift fully manifests. As Christmas Eve unfolds, remain open. Do not overthink how it will happen. Miracles do not require your logic. They require your trust. Archangel Michael says your role is simple. Receive. Let go of doubt. Release expectations shaped by past disappointments. What is coming is new, clean, and divinely protected. Take a deep breath. Feel the peace settling in. This is your confirmation that heaven is near. The miracle is closer than your fears, stronger than your doubts, and already moving toward you. This night carries a gift that cannot be wrapped, bought, or delayed any longer. And this is only the beginning. Beloved one, as this sacred night continues to unfold, a deeper layer of truth is being revealed. What you felt stirring in your heart earlier was only the surface. Archangel Michael now draws closer, not with fear, but with reassurance. He says this miracle is not distant, and it is not symbolic. It is practical, personal, and meant to touch your real life in ways you will recognize. Heaven is not vague tonight. It is precise. There is something important you must understand. Christmas Eve carries a frequency of divine exchange. What you release, God replaces. What you surrender, heaven restores. Archangel Michael says you have already, in releasing more than you realize. You let go of expectations that kept hurting you. You released people who could not walk with your destiny. You released versions of yourself that survived but could not thrive. That is why tonight responds to you. You may have wondered why things became quiet recently, why doors stopped slamming, and yet nothing new seemed to open. That silence was not emptiness, it was alignment. Archangel Michael explains that God was clearing spiritual noise so you could hear the sound of your miracle approaching. Sometimes heaven quiets the world so the miracle does not arrive into chaos but into peace. This miracle carries a sense of relief. When it arrives, you will feel your shoulders relax. Your breath will deepen. Your heart will recognize safety again. This is how you will know it is from God. It will not push you into panic or confusion. It will confirm, not pressure. Archangel Michael says divine miracles always come with peace, even when they change everything. There is also a restoration element attached to this night. Something you lost emotionally is being returned in a new form. It may not look exactly like the past, but it will heal what the past damaged. God does not rewind time. He redeems it. And tonight, redemption is active in your story. Archangel Michael says what felt wasted is about to be repurposed. Pay attention to what comes into your mind as you listen. Images, names, or situations may rise gently. That is not random. That is your spirit being prepared. The miracle will connect to those thoughts in a way that makes sense later. For now, you are only being softened so you can receive without resistance. You have been stronger than people know. Smiling when you wanted to collapse. Encouraging others while your own heart felt tired. Archangel Michael acknowledges this sacrifice. He says heaven never overlooks hidden faithfulness. Tonight is a response to what you carried silently. This miracle is not a reward for perfection, but a gift for endurance. There is also protection surrounding this miracle. Nothing can interfere with it. No jealousy, no delay, no spiritual resistance. Archangel Michael stands guard over what is coming to you. That is why you are being told not to ignore this message. Awareness matters. When you recognize a divine moment, you align with it more fully. As this message reaches more hearts, let yourself be part of that flow. If this resonates with you, let it be known. Like this video so the message travels further. Share it with someone who needs hope tonight. Leave a comment as a declaration that you are open to receiving what heaven is releasing. And if you have not yet subscribed, do it now as a sign that you choose to stay connected to messages that strengthen your faith. When you engage, you are not just supporting a channel, you are amplifying a divine signal. Archangel Michael says there is power in agreement. When you respond, you step into alignment with what is already unfolding. This is not about algorithms alone. It is about spiritual unity. Every interaction becomes a small act of faith, and faith moves things you cannot see yet. This miracle may come quietly. It may arrive through a conversation, a realization, or a sudden opening you did not expect. Do not dismiss small beginnings. God often wraps big answers in simple moments. Archangel Michael says your discernment will be sharp tonight. Trust what feels calm, not what feels rushed. Let go of the need to control how it happens. Control closes hands, trust opens them. Christmas Eve is not asking you to strive. It is inviting you to rest while heaven works. Even now, something is shifting as you listen. That is not imagination, that is movement. Hold on, because what unfolds next will connect everything you have heard so far in a way you did not see coming. Your patience in staying present will make the revelation even clearer. This night is still unfolding, and the best is not behind you. It is drawing nearer with every breath you take. Chosen one, this moment is unfolding with divine intention. What has been whispered so far now deepens into revelation. Archangel Michael speaks with clarity and authority, saying that Christmas Eve is not only about what is coming, but about what is being sealed. Some miracles are released gradually, but others are activated at a precise hour. Tonight carries such precision. Heaven has circled this time because your heart is finally ready to receive without fear. There has been a quiet war in your thoughts, a back and forth between hope and hesitation. You wanted to believe, yet past disappointments tried to keep you guarded. Archangel Michael says this inner tension is ending now. The miracle approaching does not require you to relive old pain to prove your faith. God is not asking you to reopen wounds. He is closing them. Something important is being corrected in the spiritual realm. A misunderstanding you carried about yourself is being dismantled. You thought you were behind. Heaven says you were hidden. You thought you missed your chance. Heaven says it was preserved. You thought God was silent. Heaven says He was working beyond your awareness. This correction alone is part of the miracle. Tonight, a new spiritual authority is settling on you. Not authority over others, but authority over fear, doubt, and delay. Archangel Michael says when this miracle manifests, you will notice that you respond differently. Things that once triggered anxiety will no longer control you. That shift is proof that God has done something deep, not just external. Do not measure this miracle by comparison. What God is doing for you is custom designed. It fits your journey, your wounds, and your calling. Archangel Michael warns not to let outside voices define what blessing should look like. Heaven's gifts bring peace, not pressure. When it arrives, it will feel right, even if it surprises you. There is also a reconnection happening tonight. A reconnection between you and your confidence in God. Somewhere along the way, you learned to pray cautiously. You asked with disclaimers, expecting disappointment. Archangel Michael says those guarded prayers are being replaced with bold trust. Tonight, God is reminding you that He is safe to believe again. This miracle also carries momentum. It will unlock more than one answer. Think of it as the first door opening in a hallway of light. Once it opens, others will follow more easily. What was once stuck begins to flow. Archangel Michael says stagnation is breaking. Movement has been restored. You may feel emotional without knowing why. Tears may rise unexpectedly. That is release. Your spirit is letting go of waiting mode. You are transitioning from survival into reception. That shift is sacred. Do not resist it. Let it happen gently. Archangel Michael emphasizes that obedience matters in moments like this. Not forced obedience, but heart-level alignment. When you sense peace, follow it. When something feels divinely timed, honor it. Small yeses tonight will lead to bigger confirmation soon. Miracles often begin with inner agreement before outer evidence. This message is also reaching you because you are meant to be a carrier of hope. What God does in you will strengthen others later. Not through performance, but through testimony. People will notice your calm, your clarity, your renewed strength. And when they ask what changed, you will know it started on a night like this. Now receive this activation with intention. Archangel Michael says words have power when spoken in faith. If this message resonates with your spirit, acknowledge it. This is not superstition. It is agreement. Type "I receive the Christmas miracle" in the comments if this message is speaking to your spirit. Blessing code 2412 is now activated. And now, hear this carefully, because this is part of the divine flow of tonight. As Archangel Michael releases this word, I feel led to speak directly to those whose hearts are burning to help this message reach others. This is not about supporting a channel. This is about fueling a mission. Every seed sown here becomes light for someone still sitting in darkness. God says, "What you place in my hands tonight, I will multiply beyond what you imagine." I hear the Lord saying that as you sow, rivers will open where there were dry places. Just as the miracle is coming to you tonight, your obedience becomes a doorway for miracles in other lives. When you give through Super Thanks, membership, or PayPal, you are placing oil in the lamp that keeps this message burning across the world. The PayPal link is waiting in the description, not as a donation, but as a prophetic act. I declare over every giver that this seed will not return empty. Heaven records it. Angels respond to it. Doors will open because you chose to act in alignment, not hesitation. Do it now. Obey the nudge. Release the seed, and watch God release the harvest. Beloved soul, as this sacred night continues to unfold, Archangel Michael now draws your attention to something subtle yet powerful that is happening within you. The miracle is not only approaching from the outside, it is also aligning you on the inside. Heaven always prepares the vessel before pouring the blessing. What you are sensing right now is preparation, not delay. There has been a deep transformation occurring beneath the surface of your life. You may not have had language for it, but you felt it. Old reactions no longer fit. Old fears no longer satisfy. Old cycles feel uncomfortable, even when they are familiar. Archangel Michael says this discomfort was necessary. You were outgrowing spaces that once defined you, and heaven was gently moving you forward. Tonight, clarity is being restored. Not loud clarity, not dramatic clarity, but steady inner knowing. You will begin to sense what deserves your energy and what no longer does. This discernment is part of the miracle. Many people pray for blessings but ignore the wisdom required to sustain them. God is giving you both. That is why this night is so significant. There is also healing happening in your memory. Certain moments from your past that once carried emotional weight are losing their power. You may notice that when you think of them now, they no longer sting the same way. Archangel Michael says this is intentional. God is removing emotional hooks so the future does not pull you backward. You cannot carry new wine in old wounds. The miracle coming tonight will not need you to explain or justify it. It will speak for itself. Those who doubted your journey will see the fruit without needing a defense. Those who underestimated you will recognize that something divine intervened. Archangel Michael reminds you that vindication belongs to God, not to your effort. As this unfolds, you are being invited into deeper rest. Not physical sleep alone, but soul rest. The kind of rest that comes when you finally trust that you are held. You have been alert for so long, guarding your heart, watching for disappointment. Tonight, heaven is asking you to lower your guard. The battle is not yours to fight anymore. There is a gentle warning embedded in this message as well. Do not rush ahead of God once the miracle begins to show itself. Excitement is natural, but impatience can distort perception. Archangel Michael advises you to move with gratitude, not urgency. What God is giving you is stable. It will not disappear if you move slowly with wisdom. You may also notice new desires forming in your heart. Desires that feel cleaner, calmer, and more aligned with peace. These are not random. They are reflections of who you are becoming. The miracle is not just changing your situation. It is reshaping your priorities. What once mattered deeply may lose its grip, and what truly nourishes your soul will rise to the surface. Tonight marks a shift from striving to stewardship. Instead of fighting for outcomes, you will begin to care for what God places in your hands. This shift brings ease. Archangel Michael says ease does not mean lack of effort. It means absence of resistance. When you move with heaven instead of against fear, things flow more naturally. Be mindful of your thoughts as you move through the rest of this night. What you dwell on now has unusual power. Choose gratitude over analysis. Choose trust over replaying old scenarios. The miracle aligns with faith, not fixation. God does not need you to figure it out. He needs you to stay open. You are not late. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. These truths are being sealed deeply within you now. Archangel Michael says the days of questioning your worth are ending. The miracle will reinforce what heaven has always known about you, even when you doubted yourself. As Christmas Eve continues, allow yourself to receive without guilt. You do not need to earn what God gives by suffering more. Grace is not a reward, it is a gift. Tonight, that gift is reaching for you, and nothing is standing in its way. Remain present. Remain receptive. The unfolding is still in motion, and what comes next will add another layer of understanding to what you are experiencing now. The night is not finished speaking yet. Beloved one, as this holy night continues to breathe over your life, Archangel Michael now invites you to recognize something crucial. The miracle approaching you is not isolated to one moment. It is part of a divine sequence. What God is doing tonight is positioning you for a season, not a single event. This is why the atmosphere around you feels different. Heaven is expanding your capacity. You may notice that your intuition feels sharper than usual. You sense things before they are spoken. You feel when something aligns and when it does not. Archangel Michael says this heightened awareness is intentional. God is training your spirit to recognize truth quickly so you do not waste energy on what no longer serves your calling. Discernment is one of the greatest gifts released in this hour. There is also a breaking of internal limitations happening now. Limits you never spoke out loud, but quietly accepted. Thoughts like "this is as far as I can go" or "this is just how life is for me" are being dismantled. Archangel Michael says heaven is challenging the ceilings you grew accustomed to. not with pressure, but with invitation. God is showing you that more is possible without costing you peace. This miracle will also restore your trust in timing. You have questioned God's clock before. You wonder why answers came late, or why doors opened after you had already grieved their loss. Tonight, understanding begins to settle. Not every detail, but enough clarity to soften your frustration. Archangel Michael says delay was protection, not denial. You were being spared outcomes you could not yet see. Pay attention to how your body responds in this moment. You may feel lighter, calmer, or more grounded. That is alignment. When the soul comes into agreement with heaven, the body follows. Stress begins to release its grip. Tension loosens. This is a sign that something is settling into place properly. There is also a reconciling happening between your faith and your expectations. For a long time, you believed God could do miracles, but you were unsure if He would do one for you. That separation is closing now. Archangel Michael says tonight restores personal faith. Not belief in theory, but belief in intimacy. God is not distant. He's attentive. You are also being prepared to receive without sabotaging the blessing. Sometimes miracles arrive, but people push them away out of fear or unhealed patterns. Heaven is healing those patterns first. That is why this process hath been gentle, layered, and intentional. God is not rushing you because He intends for this to last. As the miracle unfolds, you may feel drawn to simplicity. Less noise, less explaining, less proving. Archangel Michael says simplicity protects sacred things. You do not need to announce every step. Some blessings grow best in quiet environments. Let God reveal what needs to be revealed when it needs to be revealed. There is a shift from reaction to response happening within you. Instead of reacting emotionally, you will begin responding wisely. This is maturity, and it is part of the miracle. Wisdom does not come from age alone. It comes from healed perspective. Heaven has been reshaping how you see yourself and the world around you. You may also experience moments of gratitude rising spontaneously. Gratitude without a clear reason yet. That is prophetic gratitude. Your spirit is thanking God in advance because it senses what is coming. Archangel Michael says this kind of gratitude accelerates manifestation because it aligns you with heaven's certainty. Be mindful not to revisit old narratives. Stories you told yourself during painful seasons no longer apply. You are not that version of yourself anymore. A miracle is introducing you to who you are becoming. Let the past remain a teacher, not a ruler. You have learned enough from it. This night is also recalibrating your sense of worth. Worth not based on productivity, approval, or endurance, but on divine identity. Archangel Michael reminds you that God's love for you did not increase because you stayed faithful, nor did it decrease when you struggled. It has always been constant. The miracle flows from that love, not from performance. As the hours move forward, remain gentle with yourself. Do not demand immediate proof. Some miracles announce themselves later through sustained peace, unexpected opportunities, or inner confidence. Trust the process. Heaven does not tease. What is released is real. The unfolding continues. What you are experiencing now is only one layer of a much larger design. Stay present. Stay open. The next movement will bring even deeper understanding of how tonight connects to everything that lies ahead. Beloved child, as this sacred flow continues, Archangel Michael now speaks to the rhythm of your days ahead. What is changing tonight will not remain confined to this moment. It will echo forward. Heaven is adjusting your pace so you no longer live in constant urgency. You were not created to rush from one concern to another. You were created to walk in alignment, where each step meets provision at the right time. There has been a pattern in your life where peace arrived only after exhaustion. You learned to rest only when everything was finished, only when nothing else could be done. Archangel Michael says that pattern is breaking. The miracle coming carries rest within it. You will no longer need to collapse to feel relief. Relief will begin to accompany you as you move. You may notice clearer boundaries forming naturally. Not walls, but wisdom. You will know when to speak and when to remain quiet, when to give and when to pause. Heaven is protecting your energy so the miracle is not drained by unnecessary strain. Discernment will feel calmer, not confrontational. There is a recalibration of confidence happening now. Confidence that does not boast but stands firm. You will begin to trust your decisions again. Second guessing will lose its grip. Archangel Michael says this confidence is anchored in truth, not outcome. Even if something takes time, you will no longer interpret waiting as failure. As this unfolds, you may feel drawn to revisit certain dreams you once set aside. Dreams you told yourself were unrealistic or impractical. Heaven did not plant those desires to frustrate you. Some were paused, not canceled. Tonight marks the beginning of their reintroduction, but with new wisdom and healthier expectations. You are also being taught how to listen differently, not just for answers but for direction. Sometimes God does not give explanations because guidance is more important. Archangel Michael says you will begin sensing next steps rather than full maps. This is how faith matures. Step by step, not all at once. Be aware that as peace increases, distractions may try to compete for your attention. Not all distractions are negative. Some are simply unnecessary. Choose what nourishes you. The miracle thrives in environments of focus and gratitude. What you feed will grow. If this message hath been strengthening your spirit, let it move beyond you. Like this video so it reaches those who are still searching for reassurance tonight. Share it with someone who needs calm more than answers. Leave a comment as a testimony that you are receiving peace where anxiety once lived. And if you have not yet subscribed, do it now as a declaration that you choose ongoing alignment over momentary inspiration. When you engage, you are participating in the spread of hope, not just content. Archangel Michael reminds you that unity multiplies impact. Every shared message becomes a bridge for someone else to cross from fear into faith. Your simple action can become someone else's confirmation. This miracle will also teach you patience without passivity. You will act when prompted and rest when guided. There is a balance, being restored. No more forcing outcomes. No more waiting and confusion. Direction will feel gentle yet firm. You may notice your prayers becoming simpler. Fewer words, more trust. That is growth. God understands the language of your heart even when your mouth grows quiet. Archangel Michael says heaven responds quickly to surrendered hearts. As this night deepens, allow gratitude to anchor you. Thank God not just for what you hope to see, but for what you already feel shifting within. Gratitude keeps your spirit open and grounded. It prevents fear from re-entering spaces that have just been healed. Hold on, because what unfolds next will connect this inner peace to a tangible movement you did not expect. You will want to be present for what comes, because it will clarify why this night has been so carefully orchestrated for you. Beloved one, as the night continues its sacred unfolding, Archangel Michael now invites you to see how the inner shifts you have been feeling are preparing the ground for something tangible. What has been happening within you is not abstract. Heaven never works in isolation. Inner alignment always precedes outer movement. The calm settling into your spirit is the soil where visible change will soon take root. There is a quiet confidence being restored to you, not the kind that announces itself, but the kind that stands steady even when no one is watching. Archangel Michael says this confidence is necessary because what comes next will require you to trust yourself again. You will be asked to step forward without needing constant reassurance. God is strengthening your inner compass so you can move with clarity instead of hesitation. You may notice that situations which once intimidated you now feel manageable, not because they have shrunk, but because you have grown. This growth did not happen overnight. It was formed through endurance, reflection, and surrender. Heaven has been shaping you patiently, even during seasons when you thought nothing was happening. Now that shaping is becoming evident. This is also a time of realignment with truth. Some beliefs you carried were never meant to last. They helped you survive, but they were not meant to define you forever. Archangel Michael says false conclusions about yourself are being gently dismantled. You are no longer required to see yourself through the lens of past failures or delayed answers. Truth is replacing assumption. As this happens, you may feel a sense of release around expectations you once placed on yourself. You no longer need to be everything to everyone. You no longer need to prove your worth through constant effort. The miracle coming does not demand performance. It responds to authenticity. Heaven honors who you are becoming, not who you pretend to be. There is also a subtle restoration of joy beginning. Not loud joy, not dramatic excitement, but quiet enjoyment. You may find yourself appreciating small moments again. A conversation, a breath of fresh air, a sense of calm at the end of the day. Archangel Michael says joy is returning because fear is losing territory. Joy always follows safety. Be attentive to new opportunities that feel aligned rather than impressive. Sometimes God answers prayers through simple openings that do not look extraordinary at first glance. Do not overlook them. The miracle may begin with something that feels almost ordinary, yet carries divine momentum. Discernment will help you recognize it. You are also being taught to trust timing without anxiety. Waiting will no longer feel like punishment. It will feel purposeful. Archangel Michael says patience is becoming peaceful because you now understand that God is involved in the process, not watching from a distance. This understanding changes everything. There may be moments when old thoughts try to resurface, reminding you of past disappointments. Do not fight them aggressively. Simply do not agree with them. Agreement gives power. Silence removes it. You are allowed to move forward without dragging old narratives with you. The past does not get to vote on what God is doing now. This night also marks a strengthening of your spiritual hearing. You will begin to sense guidance more clearly, not necessarily through dramatic signs, but through steady inner knowing. When something is right, you will feel peace. When something is not, you will feel unsettled. Trust these impressions. They are part of the protection surrounding your path. Archangel Michael says you are entering a season where discernment will save you time. You will no longer need to learn everything the hard way. Wisdom will intervene earlier. This is a gift, and it is connected to the miracle being released. God is not only blessing you, He is guarding what He gives. As you continue through this night, remain open but grounded, expectant but calm. The miracle does not require you to stay alert or tense. It requires you to remain receptive. God does not slip blessings past distracted hearts, but He places them gently into attentive ones. You are not being tested right now. You are being transitioned. Testing belongs to preparation seasons. Transition belongs to fulfillment seasons. Archangel Michael says you have already endured enough refining. What comes now is application. The strength you gain will now support the life you are stepping into. Let gratitude remain your posture. Gratitude does not rush outcomes. It anchors trust. Even if you do not yet see the full picture, you are allowed to rest in the knowing that heaven is actively involved. Nothing about this night is wasted. Every moment is layered with purpose. Stay present. Stay aware. The unfolding is nearing another turning point, and what comes next will bring visible confirmation that what you have felt internally is now beginning to take form in your external world. Beloved soul, this moment now deepens into something sacred and weighty. Archangel Michael stands firmly in this hour, not as a distant watcher, but as an active guardian over what is unfolding in your life. What you have been sensing internally is now being authorized spiritually. Heaven is not only preparing you, it is approving the next phase of your journey. There is a divine acknowledgement happening tonight. God is recognizing the private obedience no one applauded, the nights you kept believing when answers felt delayed, the moments you chose integrity over convenience. Archangel Michael says these moments were recorded, not forgotten. Tonight, they become the foundation upon which your miracle stands. You are crossing from anticipation into activation. This is why the atmosphere feels heavier yet calmer. Something is being sealed. When God seals a season, it means what He releases cannot be undone. The miracle approaching carries permanence. It is not fragile. It is protected by divine authority. There has been a subtle fear you carried that if things finally went right, something would go wrong again. Archangel Michael addresses this directly. He says this cycle is broken. What is coming is not followed by loss. You are not being lifted just to be dropped. Heaven does not play with hearts. This miracle is stable because it is rooted in truth. You may notice that your prayers are shifting tone. Less pleading, more expectancy. Less desperation, more confidence. This is evidence that your spirit already senses the shift. Faith changes language before circumstances change visibly. God is aligning your voice with what He is doing behind the scenes. There is also a release of authority over your environment. You will begin to notice that chaos no longer dominates spaces you occupy. Peace will follow you more naturally. This is not coincidence. Archangel Michael says when heaven endorses a transition, the atmosphere responds. Be mindful of how you speak about yourself in this season. Words now carry amplified power. Speak life. Speak alignment. Speak gratitude. Not to convince God, but to keep your spirit in agreement. The miracle thrives in environments of faith-filled speech. You are also being repositioned relationally. Some connections will deepen naturally, while others may fade without conflict. Do not resist this. God is rearranging your circle to support what He is building. Alignment will replace attachment. Peace will replace obligation. This is a holy invitation to trust fully, not blindly but confidently. You have enough evidence now to rest. The signs, the confirmations, the inner peace, they are all pointing in the same direction. Heaven is moving, and you are included. Now receive this moment intentionally. Archangel Michael says agreement seals activation. Type I step into divine activation in the comments if your spirit receives this word. Blessing code 8881 is now released over your life. And now, let this flow continue exactly as it is meant to. I feel led to speak directly to those whose hearts are burning to help this message reach beyond this moment. This is not about supporting a channel. This is about becoming a vessel of light. Every seed you sow here becomes a doorway for someone else to encounter hope, clarity, and divine reassurance. The Lord says, as you pour into this work, I will pour back into your life in ways you cannot calculate. Just as this miracle is being activated tonight, your obedience activates movement in the lives of others who are still waiting for a sign. When you give through Super Thanks, membership, or PayPal, you are placing fuel on the altar of God's Word. The PayPal link is in the description, not as a request, but as a divine opportunity. I declare that every person who gives tonight will experience acceleration. What was slow will gain momentum. What was dry will begin to flow. Heaven honors seeds planted in alignment. Do not delay. Act now. Release the seed and watch God release increase with precision and peace. Beloved one, as the night continues to unfold, a deeper calm begins to settle around you, not as an ending, but as a sign of stabilization. Archangel Michael now speaks of grounding. When heaven releases something powerful, it also anchors it. This is the phase where what was activated begins to integrate into your daily life. Miracles are not meant to hover above reality. They are meant to live within it. You may notice a change in how you approach ordinary moments. Tasks that once felt heavy now feel manageable. Decisions that once caused anxiety now feel clearer. This is not because your circumstances have suddenly simplified, but because your inner world has been reordered. Archangel Michael says when the soul comes into alignment, life follows. There is a quiet courage rising within you. Courage that does not rush ahead but also does not retreat. This courage allows you to face situations honestly without fear of collapse. You are no longer bracing for disappointment. You are present. The presence is powerful. It allows you to respond instead of react. This part of the journey is about integration. What you have received spiritually now begins to influence how you think, speak, and choose. Heaven is not asking you to make dramatic changes overnight. Instead, you will notice subtle shifts, healthy boundaries, clearer priorities, less tolerance for what drains you. These are signs that the miracle is settling into your structure. Archangel Michael says this is also a season of discernment regarding opportunities. Not every open door is meant for you, even if it looks attractive. You will feel a new ability to pause and listen before committing. Trust this. Discernment protects destiny. What God has released must be stewarded wisely. You may also experience moments of reflection where you realize how far you have come. Not with pride, but with gratitude. You survived seasons that could have hardened you, yet you remained soft. That softness is strength. Heaven honors it. The miracle coming is not rewarding toughness. It is honoring faithfulness. There is also a healing of self-trust happening now. You are learning to trust your instincts again. For a long time, you questioned your own judgment because of past outcomes. Archangel Michael says those outcomes were not proof of failure. They were part of training. You were learning discernment through experience. Now that training is bearing fruit, as this integration continues, your prayers may feel quieter but deeper. You may not feel the need to explain everything to God. Silence will feel comfortable, not empty. This is intimacy. When trust deepens, words become fewer. Heaven understands this language well. You may also notice that you are less affected by external opinions. Praise will not inflate you, and criticism will not dismantle you. This emotional stability is a gift. It allows you to remain steady regardless of external conditions. Archangel Michael says this steadiness is necessary for what lies ahead. There is a preparation happening for increased responsibility. Not burden, but stewardship. What God is bringing into your life will require consistency, not intensity. Daily faithfulness matters more than occasional passion. Heaven is shaping you for sustainability, not burnout. Do not be surprised if you feel drawn to simplify certain areas of your life. Clearing clutter, reducing commitments, or reorganizing routines. These actions are not random. They create space for what is coming. Miracles need room to grow. Make space without fear. God will not fill it with confusion. This night is teaching you how to walk with peace rather than chase answers. Answers will come, but they will arrive in rhythm, not rush. Archangel Michael says patience now feels different because it is no longer rooted in uncertainty. It is rooted in trust. If old fears attempt to resurface, do not engage them. They are echoes, not warnings. The authority has shifted. What once intimidated you no longer holds power. You are not walking alone. Heaven walks with you. As this phase settles, remain attentive but relaxed, expectant but grounded. A miracle does not require constant focus to remain active. It is already in motion. Your role is to remain aligned, not anxious. The unfolding continues, and what comes next will bring clarity about how this miracle begins to express itself in visible, practical ways. Stay present. The night is still speaking, and its message is moving closer to manifestation. Beloved child, as this sacred progression continues, Archangel Michael now draws your attention to readiness. Not anxious readiness, not forced anticipation, but settled readiness. The kind that comes when your spirit knows it is aligned. This stage is important because heaven does not release fullness into unprepared hands. What you are feeling now is confirmation that you are ready to carry what is coming without fear or confusion. There is a strengthening of resolve happening within you. You are becoming less negotiable with doubt. Thoughts that once lingered no longer stay long. You recognize them, and they pass. Archangel Michael says this is spiritual authority taking root. Authority does not shout. It remains steady. You are no longer easily shaken because your foundation has been reinforced. This miracle will require consistency more than excitement. Excitement fades, but consistency sustains. Heaven is teaching you how to walk forward even on ordinary days. Not every step will feel supernatural, but every step will be guided. Archangel Michael says this is how miracles become lifestyles, not just moments. You may begin to notice that your tolerance for chaos has decreased. Situations that thrive on drama or urgency will feel uncomfortable. This is not weakness, it is wisdom. Peace has become your reference point. Anything that disrupts it now stands out clearly. God is teaching you to protect what He has given. There is also an invitation to participate actively in what heaven is doing. Miracles do not always arrive fully formed. Sometimes they unfold as partnerships. You may feel prompted to take small actions that feel aligned but simple. Follow those nudges. Obedience does not need to be dramatic to be powerful. Small steps taken in faith often unlock larger doors. This is also a moment of collective movement. Messages like this are not meant to stay contained. If this word has been strengthening you, allow it to move outward. Like this video so the message reaches those who are still searching for reassurance. Share it with someone who needs grounding more than answers tonight. Leave a comment as a declaration that you are walking forward in peace, not fear. And if you have not yet subscribed, do it now as a statement that you choose ongoing spiritual alignment, not temporary encouragement. When you engage, you are participating in a larger flow of hope. Archangel Michael says agreement multiplies impact. When hearts move together, heaven responds swiftly. Your engagement is not small. It becomes part of a greater echo. As this unfolds, be aware that clarity will continue to increase. Not all at once, but enough for the next step. God rarely reveals the entire path at once because trust grows in motion. You will know what you need to know when you need to know it. That is sufficient. You are also learning to rest without guilt. Rest without feeling like you are falling behind. Archangel Michael says this rest is strategic. It preserves your strength for what matters. Burnout does not glorify God. Balance does. You are being taught how to live from overflow rather than depletion. This miracle also adjusts how you view time. You will feel less pressure to rush. Deadlines will no longer dominate your peace. God is not bound by clocks, and neither is his ability to intervene. Trusting divine timing does not make you passive. It makes you grounded. You may notice that gratitude comes more naturally now. Not forced gratitude, but sincere appreciation for small mercies. This gratitude is evidence that fear has loosened its grip. Gratitude anchors you in the present instead of pulling you into imagined futures. There is also a quiet boldness forming. You will speak truth more calmly. You will say no without over-explaining. You will say yes without overthinking. This boldness is not aggressive, it is clear. Heaven values clarity. Before you move forward, pause here for a moment. Let this settle. What unfolds next will connect everything you have experienced so far into one clear direction. You will want to remain present for it, because this is where understanding deepens and the final movements begin to take shape. Beloved one, as this sacred journey approaches its final movements, Archangel Michael now speaks with a tone of completion and promise. What you have been experiencing was never meant to leave you suspended. Heaven does not awaken hearts without guiding them forward. This phase is about convergence, where everything that has been stirred, healed, and aligned begins to come together with purpose. You may feel a sense of quiet expectancy now. Not urgency, not pressure, but readiness paired with peace. This is how you know you are aligned. Anxiety fades when direction becomes clear. Archangel Michael says this calm expectation is evidence that your spirit recognizes what is coming, even before your mind fully understands it. There is a merging happening between your faith and your daily life. For a long time, faith felt like something you accessed only during prayer or crisis. Now it is becoming a steady presence. You carry it into conversations, decisions, and moments of rest. This integration is part of the miracle. God is not visiting your life. He is dwelling within it. This stage also brings resolution to inner questions that lingered without answers. You may suddenly realize that certain questions no longer matter. Not because they were answered directly, but because they lost their emotional charge. Peace has a way of resolving what logic could not. Archangel Michael says this is maturity, not avoidance. There is also a strengthening of identity happening now. You are no longer defined by what you are waiting for. Waiting seasons once shaped your self-image, but now your identity is anchored in who you are becoming. This shift frees you from measuring your worth by outcomes. You are valuable before the miracle fully manifests. As you move through this phase, you may feel drawn to stillness. Moments of silence may feel comforting rather than empty. This is where clarity settles. Archangel Michael says silence is not absence, it is presence without noise. God often speaks most clearly when distractions fall away. Be attentive to subtle confirmations. A repeated phrase, a timely encounter, a moment of clarity that arrives without effort. These are gentle affirmations that you are on the right path. Heaven often confirms direction quietly, trusting that you are now able to recognize it. You are also stepping into a season of intentional living. You will choose more deliberately how you spend your time and energy. Automatic habits will be questioned. Meaning will replace momentum. Archangel Michael says this intentionality protects what God is building. Careless living can erode even good things, but mindful living sustains them. This miracle is also redefining your understanding of success. Success will no longer mean constant progress or visible achievement. It will mean alignment, peace, and faithfulness. You will measure success by inner steadiness rather than external applause. Heaven celebrates this definition. There may be moments when you reflect on how different you feel compared to when this journey began. The anxiety that once dominated your thoughts no longer has the same voice. The fear that once felt loud now feels distant. This is not because life became easy, but because you became anchored. Archangel Michael reminds you that what God has begun will be completed. You do not need to maintain it through effort alone. Grace sustained what grace is. Your role is not to control the outcome, but to remain aligned as it unfolds. As you stand at this threshold, resist the temptation to rush forward mentally. Stay present. The final movement is not about speed, it is about sealing. Heaven is ensuring that what is released is rooted deeply enough to last. Quick growth can be fragile. Steady growth endures. You may notice a renewed sense of purpose emerging. Not a loud calling, but a quiet knowing. You understand more clearly why you endured certain seasons. The pain now has context. The waiting now has meaning. Archangel Michael says perspective is one of the greatest gifts of fulfillment. Let gratitude continue to guide you. Gratitude keeps your heart soft and your spirit receptive. It prevents fear from reclaiming ground that has already been healed. Even now, give thanks for what you cannot yet fully see, because your spirit already recognizes it. The journey is not ending, it is transitioning. What began as preparation is now moving toward expression. The final words to be spoken will bring everything into focus. Stay with this moment. The culmination is near, and it will speak with clarity, authority, and blessing. Beloved child, this is the moment of sealing. Archangel Michael now stands with finality and grace, not to end the message, but to anchor everything that has been released into your life tonight. What began as a stirring has become alignment. What felt like anticipation has matured into assurance. Heaven does not bring you this far to leave things unfinished. This night was designed to complete something sacred within you. There is a deep knowing settling in your spirit now. You may not have words for it, but you feel it. A calm certainty that you are no longer waiting the same way you once were. Waiting has shifted into expectation, and expectation has shifted into trust. Archangel Michael says this is the posture that allows miracles to land gently and remain firmly. This miracle is not just an answer. It is a turning point. It marks the end of a chapter defined by survival and the beginning of a chapter shaped by stability. You are no longer bracing yourself for loss. You are learning how to receive without fear. This is not small. This is transformation. Tonight has rewritten something deep within you. Old agreements with doubt have been broken. Old fears no longer have permission to speak with authority. You may still hear them whisper, but they no longer decide your direction. Archangel Michael says authority has shifted. Peace now leads where fear once did. There is also a sense of spiritual maturity, being sealed. You no longer need constant reassurance to believe God is at work. You recognize His movement even in quiet seasons. This discernment is a gift earned through endurance, and heaven honors it by entrusting you with more. As you move forward from this night, you will notice how differently you carry yourself. Your words will be calmer. Your choices more intentional. Your reactions more measured. This is not because life suddenly becomes perfect, but because your foundation has changed. You are anchored now. Archangel Michael reminds you that this miracle will continue to unfold in layers. Do not rush it. Do not compare it. Do not expose it prematurely. Let it grow. What is protected matures well. What is rushed often fractures. Wisdom will guide you. There will be moments ahead when you look back at this night and realize it was the beginning of clarity. Not because everything happened at once, but because everything began to move in the right direction. Direction matters more than speed. You are on the right path. You are not stepping into uncertainty. You are stepping into stewardship. God trusts you with what He is releasing. A trust is sacred. Carry it with gratitude, humility, and confidence. You are equipped for what is coming. Now receive this final activation with intention. Type "I walk in divine completion" in the comments if this message has anchored your spirit. Blessing code 1224 is now sealed over your life. And now, as this message completes its assignment, hear this with clarity and purpose. I speak now to those whose hearts feel stirred to act, not later, but now. This message did not reach you by accident, and neither did the call to support this mission. The Lord says, what you release in obedience tonight will become provision in places you may never see, but I will reward openly. When you support this work, you are not funding content. You are sending light into homes, hearts, and lives that are still waiting for confirmation. This is holy ground. Giving right now is not charity, it is alignment. When you sow through Super Thanks, membership, or PayPal, you are placing a prophetic seed into fertile soil. The PayPal link is in the description, waiting for those who recognize this moment as divine timing, not coincidence. I release a blessing over every giver now. May doors open that have resisted you. May provision meet you before need arises. May peace guard your household and clarity guide your steps. Do it now. Act in obedience. Release the seed and watch heaven respond with precision, favor, and increase.